The biggest problem people have right now, they don't have the time to do.
The biggest thing I learned is that the fortune is in the
52% acceptance rate and 37% response rate. So these are good numbers. So tell me a little bit more about this campaign. Hello, and welcome to SalesRobot Customer of the Week, a new show where we interview the top 1% of SalesRobot users and find out what makes them successful. We'll go deep into their process, including targeting, messaging, and personalization to understand what tactics you can use to implement in your cold outage starting tomorrow. Today, we have Chad Devet from liveleads.co. Welcome to the show, Chad.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. I'm very excited about it.
Perfect. So let's get right into it. What does your business do and how do you make money?
Well, okay. Well, in the simplest formats, I used to build progressive web apps that use APIs to find leads using multiple maps APIs, scrapers essentially. And then obviously AI came into the picture, and I decided I'm just going to convert all of that into a large language model. So I essentially built my own language model that now uses function calling and the same concept as mobile app, except it uses the APIs to find the leads, bring them actually into the chat itself, and then presents it in a nice table for the actual user. And then it goes and enriches it actually further. And then essentially what it does, it uses AI to an actual brand analysis or niche analysis, and then populates the user's CRM with these new leads, all within 2-3 chats of having with the actual large language model. And that's essentially what the software does. But the software allows you to build agents like this, but also any agent that you want to build. My goal is essentially to get people to start understanding, well, first of all, API and AI, it's two big concepts, but combining them is literally, the possibilities are endless. So that's essentially how I make money. And I do that for business owners, for SaaS agency owners, but I also do it for the super yacht industry because I'm actually a yacht captain as well. So I help people find jobs using AI and API.
That's awesome, man. So you're like a tech guru.
Well, I wouldn't say tech guru. I'm more of a API guru. I understand API and AI very, very well, and I've built some really, really powerful and amazing bots.
Awesome. So with that background, let's get into this campaign. Do you remember what this campaign was about?
Yeah, I believe that was the GPT Builder campaign where I essentially GPT Builder campaign. Yeah, which is the name of my software, GPT
Awesome.
Builder.
So I will not bury the lead. Let's get into the results first, and then we'll break down, phenomenal results, 52% acceptance rate and 37% response rate. So these are good numbers. So tell me a little bit more about this campaign. Who were you targeting?
I believe in this campaign, to be 100% honest, I was targeting people within there's a big community of people using a CRM called Go High Level. It's a white label platform that you can use to build your own CRM for white agency owners. It's a very big community that's growing, and I'm one of their developers, or not their official developers, but I've built my apps on their marketplace. So I essentially targeted people on LinkedIn that have the keyword Go High Level or SaaS agency owners within LinkedIn. And I believe the first message was just simple. My philosophy on any marketing automation is obviously consent. I always ask for consent. I think that's why the numbers look so good, because I think I send a connection request, and then I ask permission if I look, are you interested in getting some of this information? And then if they say yes, I send it on. If they say no, then I just don't bother them again, to be honest.
Yeah, makes sense. So these are in the maritime industry. Like, what are their titles? What did you search? Do you remember on LinkedIn or Sales?
For that campaign, I've searched for SaaS agency owners in South Africa, SaaS agency owners in America, CEOs, CTOs. I use those keywords to find, the actual decision makers, or people that have access to the actual decision makers.
I see. Awesome. So let's get into the messaging. So obviously the connection request is blank. You just want to reach out. Have you tried A/B testing with messages in the connection request? What's your take on that?
I do always send a message in the connection request. However, I do believe as well, so I'm actually A/B testing it. Sometimes I send one and I don't send one because at the end of the day, because the platform's so big, I'm just testing it. That's as simple as that. There's no complex answer to that. And then the second message up here, I noticed that managing marketing personalization. Okay, cool. Yeah, that was I remember that. So yeah. So essentially, what my objective was to make them aware that my software is helping people increase their organic lead generation by 30 to 50% at a one-time cost instead of a monthly subscription which people usually pay. Where mine is it's a kind of different level, and I'm trying like I'm just like I'm essentially just trying to get them to be aware of it. Because after the actual this automation, I've got another automation that uses the SalesRobot API or webhooks to trigger workflow based on the message that got replied to me. So yeah, it's also in there.
Awesome. Awesome. That's pretty good. So if they don't reply to this one, then you're going ahead with this message, right? 2 days later.
Yeah. 2 days later, I'm sending them a message because look, LinkedIn it's a big platform. People are very busy. They might accept your like connection right now, but they might not have time to reply to you. But they want to reply. They just can't remember because like we put a person span of 2 seconds. So it's always good to send them a message like in 2 days, just reminding them, hey, we're connected. If you're too busy, or just point me in the right direction. Because it's automated, the results are actually amazing. Like you won't expect a response coming from someone in a week or 2 weeks from now that they might respond because you sent them 4 messages. It's truly amazing how it works.
Yeah. Awesome. So let's get into the rest of the sequence, which is this one. Then this is like a case study that you sent.
Yeah. So that's essentially, look, at the end of the day, I'll be blank about it. I use I think it's like it's an advanced, it's like a cheat sheet type of thing that I've got, of how to send messages. Like 100 templates. And then, like I could just go and use some AI to actually generate the message based on, the actual campaign. And it does work. Like I'm telling them, hey, XYZ marketing company has increased by these numbers. And if you have some time, let's have a chat. Or would you like to receive the actual white paper? Because I've got, the actual results in a PDF document. What that is a lead magnet. At the end of the day, it's essentially a lead magnet.
Yeah, I was going to say that because rather than asking them for a meeting, you're almost looking at this campaign like distributing the lead magnet, and when they opt in to receive it, you can, later enroll them into other, basically, like you said, a different sequence.
Exactly.
Awesome. So the last one is about breaking up with them.
Yeah. So over here, look, we've sent them 5 messages already. You don't want to be, that guy. So at the end of the day, you just close off the message saying, hey, you're obviously too busy right now. Here, I actually noticed now I forgot to add my a link to my website, because if you notice, my messages, there's none of it that's spammy. There's not one message with a link saying, hey, click here if you download this. I'm not sending them any information that points outside of the actual platform. I'm literally just conversing with them so that the moment they, what does the company tell me? That's the first thing that they think about. So without giving them anything to click on, I don't come off like I want to sell something. And that honestly does bridge the gap between 30% response rate or 50% response rate.
Yep.
Because it's the last message, I usually send a link there to a, like this website. So that, just go check it out. And then if they're interested, they'll respond.
Yep. No, it's perfect. It's perfect because ultimately you have to think about how the spammers do it and then do the exact opposite, right? Yeah. Perfect. So let's get into some of the conversations you had. Do you remember any particular ones that you want to talk about as well?
There's so many messages that come through. My response rate isn't really good because I'm automating and I'm growing, but I have to go and actually spend more time on replying to them. But I can't remember an exact message or conversation. I do remember a few where they do respond saying, hey, yes, I'm very interested, or maybe next year because it was the end of the year. Definitely a few messages there where they are very interested, or some that are not interested at all. Like this guy. There's no specific conversation that I want to point out because they're all very generic, which is exactly what I want. Is I want the consent. And like I said in the beginning, I'm all about consent, is getting them to say yes, sure. Because the moment they say yes, okay, I trigger a webhook that sends that data to my CRM, which then has got built-in workflows that says, okay, cool. So based on, if they said positive, negative, It will then send them a message, and the conversation goes on there. Where I then automate the actual white label, or sorry, the white paper that I've created, where I send this ads, where I move the conversation away, which is probably not the best idea, but you want to get their email and conversation with them, somewhere else, because email is obviously it's a very reputable channel.
Yep. Yeah. So, but it's always good to get them out of LinkedIn and onto multiple channels, because then they see your name in multiple places, right? Which makes it easier for them to recall that, hey, this was the same guy who was reaching out to me on LinkedIn, and now he's sending me a text, and now he's sending me an email. So it's almost like showing them, yeah, ads on these multiple channels. Like, this is an ad for Chad,
Yeah,
right? And email is an ad, and everything is an ad.
yeah, that's good. I agree.
Awesome. So that brings me to my next question. What are some of the mistakes you made when you first started doing cold outreach?
There are many mistakes. One of the biggest mistakes I've made was essentially not understanding the message rate limits. Okay, if you send too many messages, you'll get spam, or connecting to too many software. Don't do that. Just choose one that you trust, like SalesRobot. You don't need anything else. You don't need to have 30 of them. Just choose one that works. This one works very, very well. And then another mistake is also sending too many messages and not using a proxy. Okay, if you're going to send a message, use some proxies, because use paid proxies. Don't use free proxies, because they just don't work. SalesRobot, I believe that they do have built-in proxies, which not once has my company flagged, which is really good. Believe me, I've tried a lot of the software, and this one's by far the best.
Thank you.
Other mistakes that I've made is not appreciating or targeting your actual audience. So people that you make, the actual audience that you grow, you have to keep them, intrigued. You have to, essentially, after you get the permission, send them the stuff you want to send them. Don't just, but don't reply. Follow through. Always follow through. It's something that I also learned, and the biggest thing I learned is that the fortune is in the follow up. All about
the money.
follow up.
The money is in the follow.
Every time.
Awesome. So, on to my final question then. What are some of the things that you're excited about trying to improve your cold outreach process?
Look, what I'm trying is, it's very difficult getting to explain to people power behind AI and API. I can't get past that. So what I'm trying to explain to people is how to do it. What I'm exploring with is multiple APIs. I've tried so many APIs. Once I just build an assistant, what I have built, I'm actually busy testing it now, is I've actually, put it like this. I've gone and extracted or downloaded my LinkedIn archive, right? That gives you everything that you've ever given or shared with LinkedIn. Gives you a nice big zip folder. And I've used that as training data, and I've given it to a large language model or an AI agent. I've trained it on that data and prompted it to act as me, act as my social LinkedIn AI assistant, and reply to these messages when I get these messages. So what it does, when someone replies, it captures the reply, it analyzes the information using AI, and because it's trained on all my information, it's going to reply on my behalf. And then it replies to the message with the context in it. So I've been testing with that. It works absolutely beautiful. So I'm testing with that, and from that message, like I said earlier, is getting them onto the other platforms, showing them that you're active there as well, and making sure that that's essentially brand authority at the end of the day.
Yep. And it's funny how me and you are thinking along similar lines, because that's something we're building into SalesRobot next, the clone feature. Yeah,
Okay.
because we see a lot of potential there, because just like you said, the biggest problem people have right now, that they don't have the time to do follow-up, and they don't have trained ways ready to follow up and get them into their calendar. We experimented with this, and right now we're building it, and it's coming out live as probably third week of January. So I would love for you to test it, because that would be amazing for you to try out.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. That's really good. And honestly, I think that's the future of most AI. That's why I've been building my own software that allows people to build their own personalized AI assistant that knows everything about you, and just you. And then obviously you can go, build other large language models. But the industry is growing so quick. I'm excited. Good to see that. Please let me know as soon as it's ready. I'd love to test it for you.
Awesome, Chad. So those are all the questions I have, and that is all the time we have for you guys. But thank you so much again for hopping on. This has been extremely productive for me, and we wish you all the best for all your future sales robot
Thank you
campaigns.
so much for your time.
I really
Thank you.
thank you very much, man. All right, take care now.
Cool.